So KATSEYE just released their third EP Wild, and I do have to say it's quite a mid-album. It's not terrible, but it is not impressive either. And after playing this thing on a loop, not a single track made me want to hit save and put it on my daily playlist. But before we get into why this project fell so flat for me, we need to go through it track by track. Pinky Up sits at the top of the track list, but I have already made a full detailed video giving my exact thoughts on that song when it drops as a single, so I'm not redoing that whole thing here. If you want to check it out, the video is linked below if you want to see my full take on it. For this review, we are diving straight into the fresh tracks, starting with track 2, Animal. Released on July 24th, Animal was one of the album's pre-release singles. I didn't want to make a video on it when it was first released because I wanted to hear what the full album sounded like. The song was written by Ed Sheeran, and according to him, he heard Gnarly while he was in Mexico, loved it, and reached out to the group directly, asking if he could write them something. And when the song first came out, the reaction was split. One half of the internet is saying that this is the first KATSEYE song where you can actually hear them sing with their real vocals. The other half is saying that it sounds like a rejected Ed Sheeran demo from about a decade ago, and that the chorus is basically doing the same trick as Apt by Rosé. Honestly, both of those things can be true at the same time. The song does indeed let the girls actually sing, which fans have been begging for since their first EP, but it also plays it incredibly safe. Nothing here is going to surprise you if you've heard a pop song in the last 15 years. It got a Demi Moore cameo in the music video, which is fun, but even that feels like it's there to add some sort of spectacle to a song that's otherwise pretty straightforward underneath. My honest take is that it's quite a decent song. It's a good song. When I first heard Animal, I was not blown away or dropping my jaw. It is definitely a very generic, straightforward pop song. But here is the thing. For KATSEYE standards, I thought it was great because for the first time in a while, I could actually hear them sing. It felt different for them. After a constant stream of below-average noise music from their previous releases, hearing Animal actually gave me a silver of hope. For the first time in a long time, we got to hear actual vocals displayed on a KATSEYE track. And honestly, this single song single-handedly raised my expectations for what the rest of the Wild EP was going to sound like. But I do have issues with the song. Like I said, the song plays it extremely safe, to the point where it's not impressive whatsoever, but good enough because the bar is quite low. And because the song is so heavily stamped with that signature Ed Sheeran songwriting structure, it almost feels like a song written for someone else that KATSEYE stepped into, rather than something built organically for their specific group dynamic. It is catchy, it is clean, but it plays it very safe for a song titled Animal on an EP called Wild. It makes you wonder if the album is actually going to get wild, or if that title is just marketing. Which brings us right to track 3, Hootie Frutti, the official title track of the EP. If Animal played it safe, Hootie Frutti goes in the complete opposite direction. This is where the producers took a massive gamble. The track throws out standard westernized pop structures and blends heavy Brazilian funk with aggressive pop synths. I have some very mixed feelings about Hootie Frutti. I've slowly come to accept that KATSEYE might just never become the vocal group a lot of us keep hoping for. I think they've settled into this loud, chaotic, hyperpop adjacent sound as their actual signature. The same lane Gnarly lives in, Hootie Frutti is very much a continuation of that. Hootie Frutti opens with Daniela singing a line in Portuguese, basically teasing that this isn't your average fruit metaphor, and from there, the song just does not let up. It's playful, it's a little unhinged, and it's not trying to be subtle about what it means or what it's trying to convey. The group has said the music video takes inspiration from Britney's I'm a Slave for You era, which tells you exactly the kind of energy they were chasing here. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Pinky Up, Internet Girl, or Gnarly as songs, but out of all KATSEYE's loud, grating, chaotic tracks, Hootie Frutti is probably my favorite. I liked the beats and the intro. It sounds close to Brazilian funk and it's quite catchy. And after Animal played things so safe, this is the first track that actually sounds like it's having fun instead of trying to prove something. If wild means anything on this album at all, it's definitely this song. Where it lost me was the lyrics. They're what threw me off the most. KATSEYE needs a lyricist immediately. The one thing I do really respect here is that they incorporated other languages into the track. It shows that they are actually committed about being a proper global group rather than just singing exclusively in English to solely cater to an American market. I don't really know how to feel about the accent though, but I do like the fact that they incorporate other languages into their songs. I also couldn't help but think that KATSEYE has a majority kid audience, but the Hootie Frutti music video is definitely not for kids. So I don't really understand if they are making this type of music to appeal to children while their entire concept and image says otherwise. Their identity is still quite confusing. It looks like they're trying so hard to not appeal to kids, but still end up doing so anyways, like majority of their audiences whenever you go to concerts or look on TikTok is just teens. I feel like Hootie Frutti, this track is probably going to completely divide people. If you love high energy performance focused club tracks and Brazilian funk style TikTok music, Hootie Frutti will easily be your favorite track on the album. However, if you are coming into this EP looking for vocals, deep lyrical writing, or smooth harmonies, this track is going to feel jarring. Personally, I came into this album expecting vocal displays, but while I'm not impressed with Hootie Frutti whatsoever, I don't completely hate it when compared to their other loud, chaotic songs. Track 4 is Bel Air, and at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, it is actually the longest track on the entire EP. After the chaotic noise of Hootie Frutti, Bel Air completely resets the atmosphere. It shifts into a sleek, late-night, mid-tempo R&B pop sound with lush synth pads and airy vocal layers. Bel Air is not even a new song. It was originally written by Charli XCX all the way back in December of 2013, meant for her album Sucker, and it got cut out before that album ever came out. It sat shelved for over a decade, got reworked a couple of times along the way, and now in 2026, it's finally seen daylight as a KATSEYE track. This is a strange choice for a group's third EP. On one hand, it is a fun piece of pop trivia, like they have one of Charli XCX songs, and the song does give the group a chance to slow things down and show off some more delicate emotional vocal work after 2 high-energy tracks in a row. But on the other hand, I can't fully shake the feeling that handing a girl group a 13-year-old shelved demo says something about how this whole project was built for them specifically, versus how much of it got pulled out from somebody else's leftover pile. My opinion on Bel Air is that it's a nice song, but I can't help but feel like this song has so much potential to be better. Every time I listen to it, I just feel like something vital is missing. There's some ghost element that I cannot quite put my finger on, but it makes the whole track feel a bit hollow. It feels empty. The vocals had the opportunity to step up and really carry the song, but it feels like a conscious choice was made to hold back. It is frustrating because you can hear where the track could have gone, but it just sits there and refuses to push any further. Then we hit track 5. That Way, sitting at under 3 minutes. This track attempts to bridge the gap between smooth R&B tones of Bel Air and the commercial pop energy of the earlier tracks. Laura actually said in an interview that this is the kind of song she'd add to her own personal playlist, even if she wasn't in the group. And out of everything on this EP, it's probably the closest the production comes to matching the vocal performances. That Way displays the most vocals hands down. It's a decent track, but again, to me, it just feels kind of mid and empty. It suffers from the exact same issue as Bel Air. There is just something missing. It is not a bad song by any stretch of the imagination. You will not scramble to hit skip if it comes on your playlist. But at the same time, I was not moved, impressed, or excited at all while listening to it. It just exists. It's the song on this album I'd describe as pleasant and forgettable in the same breath. Then there's the bonus track Unloveu. Unloveu is the first song on a KATSEYE project that's actually written and produced by one of the members herself. Lara Raj put this together alongside Amy Allen and Ross Golan, 2 songwriters who've worked with some seriously massive pop names and she's been pretty open about how much this particular song means to her. It's softer, more emotional, and far more vulnerable than anything else on the track list. And honestly, that context makes it hit different once you know about it. After an EP full of outside writers and reworked decades-old demos, shelved songs, and one very famous guest songwriter, this is the one moment where you're actually hearing something that came directly from inside the group. Here's the catch though, and it's a real complaint I've seen fans bring up over and over. You can only get this song if you buy the Target exclusive physical version of the album. It isn't available on streaming platforms with the rest of the track list. Locking your most personal, most meaningful song behind one specific store's exclusive purchase is a frustrating move, and it undercuts the whole point of finally giving fans something written by one of the members. If you want the one song on this album that's actually made by KATSEYE instead of made for KATSEYE, you have to go buy a specific CD to unlock it. My final thoughts. Look, overall, this album was just made to me. It's not bad, but it's not impressive whatsoever. Nothing on this track list wowed me enough to actually go into my regular playlist rotation, and the album is not cohesive whatsoever. I could understand this scattered different genre concept in the Beautiful Chaos album because that was the whole point, beautiful chaos. But it just seems like they are repeating the same thing with Wild. It's still an album that mixes calm songs with grating chaotic ones. Wild is basically Beautiful Chaos 2.0. I also keep coming back to the fact that KATSEYE basically swings between two completely different modes on this album, and I don't fully like either one on its own. On one side, you've got the loud, chaotic, almost brain-rot coded songs where the lyrics are kind of embarrassing if you actually stop and read them, but the production has so much personality that you don't care. On the other side, you've got the more traditional pop songs like Bel Air, Animal, That Way, where the lyrics are way more passable, way more normal, but the production just sounds so bland to me. What I feel like is missing from KATSEYE's more serious pop songs is that there is no melodic risks being taken. The vocal arrangements play it so safe. The chord progression are totally predictable. The chorus are so lackluster and mediocre, and a good chorus can change a whole song. And also, nobody is pushing their range or trying anything bold vocally. The production and beats on their pop song are just bland and average. People underestimate how much a good instrumental and melody does for a pop song. So really, this group is just swinging between TikTok brainrot on one end and forgettable mall music on the other. And I don't fully love either side because they aren't really perfecting anyone. The hyperpop songs are too grating with terrible lyrics. The pop songs are too boring and mediocre to the point that it makes people prefer their hyperpop sound because at least the hyperpop sound is interesting and has a personality no matter how grating it is. They might as well just choose one to perfect at this point because clearly they're not reaching the best they could go on either choice they want to go between hyperpop and plain pure pop. I hope their team learns how to combine the wild, unique personality of their beats with actual top-tier songwriting and vocal risks. If they intend to double down on this hyperpop sound, they might as well make it good. But I want to give them credit for one major thing before we wrap this up. Contrary to popular opinion right now, I absolutely love the styling for this wild era. The visual aesthetics, the outfit choices, and the creative directions for their look is easily my favorite and most interesting aspect of this album rollout. I think it's quite creative and chaotic. Visually, for me, they nailed it. Musically, however, they still have a long way to go if they want to deliver an album that truly hits. KATSEYE is still very much a potential group for me. They are not bad whatsoever, but they definitely could be so much better.